Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Northumberland County School Board members, our distinguished Superintendent, Dr. Karen Leslie, Assistant Superintendent Javonda Ashton, our school principal, Mr. Joram Regis, and all teachers and staff, distinguished guests, and students. Welcome to our Northumberland High School 9/11 Remembrance Event. I am Cadet Sergeant Major Richard Ty, and I thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We are gathered to honor and remember the victims and heroes of September 11th, 2001. This day, which occurred before many of us were born, is a vital part of American history, defined by both immense tragedy and profound human resilience. It is our duty to understand and to remember. Before we start, I would like you all to stand and join me in the Lord's Prayer, led by Pastor Taylor.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Everyone, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors and singing of the national anthem, sung by Cadet Layla Shiflett.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to re-emphasize the importance of a respectful and solemn atmosphere as we move forward with our program. To provide a deeper understanding of the events of 9/11, we will now present an educational video that focuses on the courage and the sacrifice of the New York City Fire Department. It is my honor to introduce our school principal, Mr. Joram Regis.
On behalf of our honorable Northumberland County School Board members, our distinguished superintendent, Dr. Karen Leslie, our assistant superintendent, Ms. Ashton, and all the teachers and staff, good afternoon. To our wonderful guests, parents, students, and everyone present, once again, my name is Joram Regis, our school principal. As a United States Marine Corps veteran, September 11th changed my life forever. Today's a wonderful, very special occasion. We come together to honor the sacrifice of our fellow Americans. Ordinary people willing to do extraordinary things for others. 24 years ago, America was changed forever. On that day, thousands of lives were lost, families were shattered, and the course of our nation was altered. It is a day that reminds us of the vulnerability of life, the importance of courage, and the enduring strength of our shared humanity. Today, this very special day, we honor and remember our first responders, including United States military active duty and reservists. Please rise. Anyone that's in the room. Whether you're retired or not, firefighters, please rise. Our relentless police officers and sheriff department officers, please rise. Our medical personnel and volunteers and everyone who supports them, give yourselves a hand. Please have a seat. A person who rushes towards danger without hesitation is a true hero. This bravery, selflessness, and unwavering commitment to saving lives remains a profound example for all of us, even 24 years later. We also honor the countless civilians who demonstrated extraordinary kindness, compassion, and resilience in the face of unimaginary tragedy. As a school and community, we promise to never forget. We pledge to carry forward the lessons of that day, the value of unity, the power of resilience, and the responsibility we all share to support one another in our classes, in our hallways, and in our homes, in our hearts. We can model the love, the dedication, and commitment that were so vividly, emphatically displayed on September 11th by so many Americans. Let us take a moment of silence to reflect and to remember those who were lost, who serve, and those who continue to inspire us through their courage and dedication. So at this time, I kindly request that we take a 7-second moment of silence. Thank you. May we honor the legacy every single day through our actions, our service, and our commitment to one another. It is my honor now to introduce you to someone that is very special. Major Corey Nathaniel Howard. Major Corey Nathaniel Howard is a decorated United States Army veteran, a resilience expert, and a global business leader with over 23 years of leadership experience, mentoring and transforming lives of vulnerable Americans in high-pressure environments. Born in Buffalo, New York, Corey's journey was shaped by the unwavering love of his late mother, Mary Howard, whose strength in the face of mental illness continues to inspire his life and his mission. Her sacrifice became the foundation of Corey's lifelong commitment to service, leadership, and empowerment. Corey went on to become Buffalo's first ever four-year Army ROTC recipient. Give that a hand for a second. He also graduated from Norfolk State University. Give that a hand for a second. In the May of 2001, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant. Major Corey Howard began his distinguished military career spanning global deployments across Africa, Europe, South America, the Middle East, after September the 11th. Throughout his 25 years of military service, culminating his retirement from Fort Bragg, now known as Fort Liberty, in 2023, Major Corey Howard held multiple leadership roles, including commanding company commander, operations officer, and executive officer. He's a certified master resilience trainer and a passionate advocate for mental health and wellness and inclusion and empowerment. Despite being 100% disabled, Major Corey Howard remains mission-driven. He is the founder of Mentoring 366 and now a nonprofit initiative focused on connecting underserviced communities with resources, networks, mentorships, scholarships, to help them succeed. He currently serves as the global head of expansion for Got Bag, the world's largest ocean impact plastic bag company. He is headquartered in Germany with operations in Indonesia and in the US. He is pursuing his master's in social work at the University of Maryland Global Campus, and as a licensed clinical social worker to formalize his lifelong dedication to healing and personal growth. Major Corey Nathaniel Howard is a proud husband, he's a dedicated father, and continues to find strength and inspiration in family, faith, learning, and service. Major Howard is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, initiated at the Epsilon Zeta chapter in the fall of 1999. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, no other than Major Corey Nathaniel Howard.
Good afternoon, Northumberland. Good afternoon, Northumberland. Now, I'm not sure if Principal Regis or some of the other staff members let y'all know, but I traveled in from Germany, about an 8-hour flight. I've been preparing for about 30 days to come see y'all, so I'm gonna need that energy. For one last time, good afternoon, Northumberland. You know, it's interesting because the 3 points I wanted to hit today that I mentioned with Major Gonzalez were preparation, service, and leadership. And I've been preparing, but you know what? The last 24 or 48 hours, you all have made it a lot easier for me to give this presentation. So I want to give a round of applause to you all. I couldn't help sitting there watching that 25, 30-minute video and going through a multitude of emotions. Anger, frustration, disappointment, thankfulness, and gratitude. Just some of the emotions that I felt during that last 20, 25 minutes. Because while preparation is very important, extremely important, let me be very candid, let me be very frank. I didn't purposefully prepare to go and serve after 9/11. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I was sitting in those same seats like you guys and young ladies. As a 13-year-old, 12-year-old 8th grader, a 13-year-old freshman. And as Mr. Regis mentioned, my mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia in '89 when I was 10 years old. And so what I realized real fast was that I had to find a way at 12, 13 years old to take care of my mother. And I was like some of you athletes in here, some of you student athletes, and I heard you got a great program here, and I'm proud of y'all, and I'll acknowledge that later. But when I was playing football in high school, I was like everybody else. I had that dream, like one day I might play D1 ball, go play college ball, but you know what? Life had a different path for me, and I was good with that. Because when I was playing high school ball, Little League ball, about 8th grade, I met a guy by the name of Jim McNicholas, Lieutenant Colonel retired Jim McNicholas. And like one of the ladies that was speaking in the video, I like to say his name and give him reverence and keep him alive. He passed away 2 years ago, and I used to call him every week. His phone number is 716-834-0928. He didn't have no kids. He's a retired lieutenant colonel. He loved the military, and like those leaders up there said, those 11,000 firefighters were his kids. Soldiers were his kids. Cadets were his kids. And I watch your officers, I watch your ROTC leadership today, and I've been speaking to them over the last couple weeks in preparation, and I can tell they love you all. Just like Colonel Jim McNicholas loved me. So when he loved me, guess what? He had to be honest with me. He said, you know what, Corey? I love you, and you love football, but you ain't going pro. That's cool. And see, and I love the feedback. Because, sometimes the truth hurts. But as I grew and gained more understanding, I see why he understood, why he thought that. It's no secret. I'm 5'10". Now I'm 185. I play linebacker. It's not many 5'10", if any, 5'10", 185 linebackers in the NFL. I'm cool with that, though. Because guess what? Guess what he did for me? He said, I got an opportunity for you that might be, I'm going to see by a show of hands, that might be more important. So I asked him, what is that? He said, I got an opportunity for you to take care of your mother forever. By a show of hands in here for the students, and it's every student here I'm looking at, how many students in here have above a 3.0 average, 3.0 average, 3.0s? Okay, that's a pretty good percentage, but it's not everybody, but it's all good. You know what? And the reason I asked that is because I have mentioned the love of my mother. And you know what? Love is an action word. And so what y'all doing in school, y'all showing love to your family and the people that support you all. Your mothers, your fathers, your support systems, the school, the professors, the teachers in here, the leadership in Virginia. And if you're not handling your business academically, watch how you tell your parents and your loved ones that you love them. Because your actions, aren't in alignment with what you're saying. And let's ensure that our actions are in alignment with what we say. You know what? Maybe when you find out more about me, or through me and Mr. Regis, hopefully doing more community service actions here. You know what? I'm never, I set my bio up, do, fact check, whatever. I'm never concerned about my actions and what I say out my mouth not being aligned. People say, wow, you came from Germany. It don't matter how far I came, because guess what? Just like those leaders said they had 1.5 hours to save 17,000 lives. If you look at this agenda, I got about 30 to 40 minutes. To connect, encourage, and ensure each one of you students in here, it doesn't matter if you're a senior, junior, sophomore, freshman, 8th grade, whatever. It doesn't matter what year you're in. You're at a place, you're at a position where you can change the trajectory of your life, without a doubt. However, in order to do that, you got to be serious. You got to be serious. Just as serious as those firefighters were tackling them stairs to save those lives. When I come here and I speak to y'all, when I go across the country, and y'all got a beautiful system here, a beautiful system of support. I've done a little connecting, talking to some of the teachers, the family members, and let me tell y'all here, and y'all can raise your hand and question me later. I'm in neighborhoods all the time that don't got that situation. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Don't think nothing is sweet over here. I see a couple of y'all, I'm walking through the hallways, and people looking and wondering and asking. It's nothing sweet over here. Not up on the stage right now. And so I go to these neighborhoods all the time, and I don't see this. I don't see the superintendent coming down. I don't see the assistant superintendent coming down. I don't see the fire and police chiefs coming down. I don't see parents that went to the school here, grandparents that went to the school here. But you know what that is? That's a formula for success. So I know you student athletes think y'all winning because of y'all talent. Don't get it so messed up. Y'all got some talent, and that's great. Talent is amazing. Talent is great. But you know what? There's a next level of talent. And you need to add that work ethic, that consistent commitment. And you'll always grow and do better and then encourage others. Because, it's one thing to win, but when you lead that field, and that's one thing I would challenge, encourage every young person in here today. It's not just about being disciplined on that field, but it's about being disciplined in and around others. I'm thankful for everybody here, but just as one example, I have a mentor that I reached out to last week or maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I asked him, I just sent him a note. And mentorship is very important, jumping right into the service and leadership and preparation. I would encourage every one of you high school students, and even the adults, of course, myself included, we all need mentorship. The superintendent here, I'm sure, even though she's a superintendent, I'm sure she has a mentor that she reaches out to that can help her continue to progress on her journey. And I had a mentor come here today retired Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Madison sitting over here. And you know what? When I asked him to come, he said, I'm gonna try to make it. And I left it at that. Because I understood, just like those firefighters. I knew if he said he would be here or try to make it, if he could, he was gonna get here. So 3 minutes before the presentation started, he came over and gave me a hug. And you know what? I'm 46, just like Officer Palumbo that passed away. And that touched me. Because Officer Palumbo had a lot of life to live. I got a lot of life to live. My life is not any more important than his life. And sir, thank you for being here. I want to acknowledge you. I want to acknowledge you and thank you for being here. Because and not only did he show up today, he showed up since I was 17, 18 years old. As Mr. Regis mentioned, I was the first ever 4-year scholarship cadet out of the city of Buffalo. But let me caveat that by saying, that's not a credit to me. The JROTC program was brought to Buffalo in 1993. Sometimes life is just about timing. It wasn't that I was the best athlete in the world. It wasn't that I was the most disciplined kid. Matter of fact, I was far from that. I was far from the most disciplined kid. But I was tremendously inspired. Inspired by the fact that I knew he showed me that pay scale. He showed me that pay scale. And guess what? For all the young folks out here, let me, with all your stories and your challenges on why you can't do something, do the math. When I was coming up, like I said, my mother had mental illness. My mother got a check every month for $580 and $200 of food stamps. $420 went to the rent. We had $160 for the month. That's $160 for the month. That's $40 a week for you non-math guys and girls. All right? I got one pair of sneakers a year. And I got them sneakers in the beginning of the school year. That messed it up for the rest of the month. So when Colonel McNicholas gave me the opportunity, I took it very serious. Because I understood that after going to college in 4 years, not my lifestyle, my mother's lifestyle was going to change. Because I'm cool, I'm good in the mud. But I can't see my mom eating like that. Cold in the winter, too hot in the summer. Carrying groceries in the plastic bags from the food line and the grocery stores, and her hands is ripping. Because me and her carrying the milk and the eggs and whatever we can afford, and we walking home. It was nobody there to give us a ride from the grocery stores. But guess what? I didn't want nobody to give me no ride. I don't need nothing. I didn't need nobody to give me anything. I was going to earn my keep. I want you all to earn your keep. To service, I want to thank everybody, all the servants here, all the family members here. I wanted just to highlight 3 individuals I spoke to today, just earlier, Dr. Leslie, superintendent, Miss Ashton, assistant superintendent, and Miss Hicks, the assistant principal, that's been serving this community for over 51 years. Miss Hicks and team. So as I mentioned, so I go to Norfolk State. The United States hasn't been in war in 97 to 2001 for 20, 30, 40 years. As far as, obviously we did have, in 1990, we had operations, but we hadn't been in consistent combat for many years. So when I graduated in May 2001 and I started collecting that check, life was real good. Because guess what I did? I moved from Norfolk, Virginia, down the street to Virginia Beach. Down to the ocean front. I'm sitting in that condo, got like 2 TVs, I got the news on one TV, and I got the ESPN on other TV. Life was real good. You know, life was real good for about 4 or 5 months. You know? And then I'm sitting on my couch, running a little late to work, because I run the shop, so I get there when I get there. You know, I did my PT in the morning, and I'm sitting there drinking my coffee or whatever I was doing, getting ready. And I see what you all seen today on this TV screen. And I'm not sure, I've probably only seen that 2 or 3 times in the last 24 years. Because one of my pieces in life is compartmentalizing things. And a lot of us do that, you know? Like, that feeling I feel when I watch that, I don't want to feel that all the time. It's so hurtful, it's so angry, it puts me in a different space. But I would challenge you, everyone, I'm going to commit myself to watching that more often, even if it's once a year, or when I get too comfortable. But I never get too comfortable, because I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, but with that right there, that's gonna fuel me at least for the next 6 months. I'm already knowing. I know my tank. You know, hearing all those stories, hearing all those sacrifices. And let me tell you something. I commissioned at 21 years old. I was boots on ground in Baghdad, Iraq in January of 2003. My first deployment was 18 months. Y'all do the research. After that deployment, Congress outlawed 18-month deployments. You know, I want to, you know, acknowledge all the individuals that were impacted on 9/11 and throughout all the combat operations for the last 20 plus years. While I was out in Baghdad during my first deployment, my direct supervisor unfortunately took his life in front of me. You know, I was a second lieutenant, maybe first, I may have just pinned on first lieutenant after 18 months of service. No, I was a first lieutenant. He was a captain, 27 years old. You know? And so when I talk about mental illness, when I talk about depression, when I talk about being resilient, understand how connected I am and how important it is to me. Not just because of my interaction in working alongside my mother, you know, for my first 35 years of life, but also in preparing young men and women to handle life. Because sometimes parents, leaders, servants, we want to make you all feel or believe that there's a lot of space and time to get things right and do-overs. I would submit to you all, there's not a lot of time to get it right. And what you'll realize for those that don't get it right, whether you're 17, whether you're 21, you're 25, when you do get it right, when you figure it out, you're gonna always wish you figured it out 5, 10, 15 years prior. I didn't always have it right, militarily, academically, professionally, and family. My daughter will be 21 September 23rd. She's a senior down at Xavier University, graduating in December. And I'm very thankful for her and for our relationship. Just so when I see you young men and women, every time I see a young child or a young adult, I'm engaging you all like you could be my daughter or you could be my son. And I'm sure a lot of the professors here, teachers, and the staff and the leaders here, they feel the same way. And when you feel like that, the purpose it provides is just different. You know, when I was speaking with Miss Hicks earlier, she let me know how she was retired. And you know, it was a beautiful conversation we had. It was a brief conversation, but it was beautiful. And what she said was, I came back for selfish reasons. I don't want to tell your business, I'm not trying to get you in any trouble. But guess what? Guess what her selfish reason was? Her selfish reason was she believed couldn't anyone take as good care of the kids as she could. I love that about her, because guess what I want? I want every leader to feel like that. Every leader, every parent should feel like he's the best father or she's the best mother. But guess what? But like I said earlier, your actions have to be in alignment with what you're saying. And I don't know much more about Miss Hicks and a lot of the staff members here, but I can tell by the discipline of the students. I can tell by the cleanliness of the hallways. I can tell about how the cadets, when I spoke to them earlier this morning, and I was in a hoodie and sweatpants because I had just got done running and I was on my way to the gym. But they were locked in. They were locked in. And that's a credit to the leadership here. So ensure we maintain that standard. Because like I told the cadets earlier, and I'll tell you students that are aspiring to be in whatever space you choose to be in, ensure you do this. How many of y'all out here, student-wise, how many of you all, and keep your hand in the air, meet your academic requirements? Raise your hand. Okay, that looks good, and I'm sure some of y'all do, but what I'm gonna say to y'all is this. Put your hands down. Because we got a new standard. After today, after 9/11, it's not about meeting the standard. It's about what? It's about exceeding the standard. It's about exceeding, at Northumberland, y'all will be exceeding the standard moving forward. Mr. Joe mentioned I'm the global head of expansion for GotBag, which is the world's largest ocean impact plastic, and I'm getting to live in my purpose. It's an amazing opportunity to get to travel the world and meet with people from all over Asia, Africa, United States, Europe. And when I'm meeting with individuals, I ask them to don't meet me there, beat me there. Beat me there. I tell them for two reasons. One reason, I know they're not going to beat me there. It's not going to happen. And number two, time is so precious. As y'all see on that screen earlier, those 17,000 individuals that were out in New York City, they didn't know. They didn't know that morning that how many lives would be lost the morning of 9/11. So what I try to do, and sometimes it's to my detriment, I try to put 72 hours in a 24-hour day. And my wife says, "Love, when are you coming to bed?" She says, "You need some rest." She says, "When are you going to give me some me time?" And for the husbands out here, and for the wives out here, we all know what that looks like. And I try to do my best job exceeding her standards. But you know what I'll tell y'all? When I'm trying to exceed that standard, and I'm trying to look out for 30 cadets, a couple hundred students, and trying to help families all over, sometimes I don't have 6 hours to sleep. I don't have 8 hours to sleep, because I got to get it right now. I'm going to address some of the questions in the Q&A period, because, I'm dealing with underserved, underprivileged kids all the time, or quite often. And if it's about me getting 8 hours of sleep, or me bringing them some food, I'm sacrificing that sleep. Or if I know there's a situation where I can prevent a young man or young woman from not doing something that's going to get them in trouble, I'm going to have to leave my house to take care of that young individual, because somebody did that for me 30 years ago, 35 years ago, and I'm committed to paying that forward. You know, when I got out there in January of 2003, let me be very clear. I was upset. I had to leave my mother. I was upset because what I knew is nobody could take care of my mother like I could. I had to entrust friends and other individuals to ensure my mother was well for 12 months, or what I thought was going to be 12 months. How many people in here, by a show of hands, would want to entrust, and let me focus on everybody can answer, but a lot of the adults in this room that maybe have elderly parents, how many would want to entrust someone else with being a primary care provider for their mother, father, or loved one outside of them? Exactly. I didn't want to either. But you know what? I was called to service. I made a commitment. And you know what? At the time, I was a platoon leader. I had about 32 soldiers. I was 21 or 22 years old. And you know what? My platoon sergeant, like your NCO here, my platoon sergeant, I was 23 years old. My platoon sergeant was 52 years old, Sergeant First Class Green, our own hardcore armor officer. And what we did was, 135 Armor Battalion out in Baghdad, Iraq. And what we did, we said, we're about to deploy in a few months and leave our families behind. And that 90 days out, when that 90-day window opens, you know what time it is. It's go time. In my mind and some places in my heart, I wanted to stay home. But guess what? Guess what happened? I went to work every day, and I saw those soldiers. I saw those 30 soldiers that I was responsible for. I was their platoon leader. I said, I love my mom, but my responsibility, my duty is with those soldiers. I would have never forgiven myself if I'd have been so selfish to not get on that bird and go take them to where they were just as fearful to go as I was. And let me be very clear. It's nothing wrong with being afraid. Matter of fact, you need to be afraid. You should be afraid. But what you should be more afraid of is living a life of cowardice. Living a life of not stepping up. Living a life of not being responsible. Because at the end of the day, as much as it hurt me to leave my mother, and it hurt my mother for me to leave her, guess what? She was proud of me. Deep down, she was proud of me. And all I had to do to fix her pain, was get back home. And I say all I had to do because for those that know, that been out there, those that seen movies and tributes to the combat experience out in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's not guaranteed that you can make it back. But sometimes people say, Corey, you're too passionate. Corey's so energetic. And you know what? When they say it, there's like a negative connotation in it. And so you know what I like to do? I subtly correct them. I'm not just passionate. I'm not just motivated. I'm not just excited. I'm purposeful. And I'm challenging all you all to be purposeful. Because when you're purposeful, your life is a little different. You don't need as much sleep. You don't need as much hangout time. Because you're driven. You got goals. You got expectations of yourself. And one of the two most important things when I'm speaking to young folks all across America and all across the world is one of the top two, and there's no specific order, but one of those top two pieces I give young adults is watch out and be careful who you surround yourself with, who you're hanging out with. Because what I'll submit to you is this. If you have individuals that are complaining that you're too purposeful, you're too busy, you're too dedicated, you might need to love them from a distance. You might need to love them from a distance. Accomplish your task. Take care of yourself. And then come back and re-engage them and see where they're at. Because you know what? When I went down to Norfolk, I had a lot of my friends from Buffalo that didn't want me to leave. But I understood as a young kid that they didn't want me to leave because they knew in a lot of different spaces I was the one bringing the fun. All right? Let me say it one more time. I was the one bringing the fun. But you know what? It wasn't time for fun. I had a purpose, which was taking care of my mother, and then I had a further purpose, what was serving and honoring my commitment for my four-year degree that I got over 23, 24 years ago. And I did that. And when I came back, and for all you individuals that might not have it clear because of the way I present myself today, I would highly doubt that many of you in here have come from a situation that I came from or was in the spaces that I was in at 13, 12, 13, and 14 years old. I would highly doubt it. And if you are in those spaces, if you were in those spaces, you should be even more inspired to get out of those spaces. Because those spaces is ugly. Those spaces is ugly. Yep. So I'm about to shut it down so we can jump into this question and answer period. I was so inspired by you all. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. And I wanna end it by saying my last thing was the people you're around and how you're going to react when things don't go your way. How you react when things don't go your way. All right? So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And lastly, Northumberland, we are no longer just going to meet the standards. We're going to exceed the standards.
It's not working. My camera's not working. It's not working. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now open the floor for questions from our audience. If you have a question for Major Howard, please raise your hand and we will come to you.
Okay, testing. Everybody can hear me?
Good afternoon. I'm Cadet Private Courtney. And how did your ROT experience shape your leadership style and prepare you to command soldiers after the events of September 11, 2001?
Great question. So my ROTC experience, and I'll speak on my college. Are we going with college ROTC or JROTC? Okay, so all of it. So I'll do JROTC and I'll jump over to college real quick. So my JROTC experience, what it did was it showed me selfless service. When Colonel McNicholas pulled me to the side and gave me the opportunity, I was immediately grateful. But guess what happened? And this is for the cadets. As a matter of fact, where's the student athletes in here? Where's the student? Show of hands. All right, cool. What's up? I hear you back there. So you know what, cadets? Let me tell you, and then I'm gonna find out if it happened here. since we were the first ROTC program in '93 in the city of Buffalo, I had to wear the uniform. And guess what a lot of the athletes that I played football would do? What would they do? They would tease me. They would talk stuff to me. You know, and I didn't really appreciate that. But you know what I did? I understood the greater cause. I understood the sacrifice I was making at that time. So what it did was, it helped prepare me to not listen, not care what anybody else was saying while I was in high school after my freshman year. So that was so important for me and for others, because I was asked to bring students into the JROTC battalion, and I'd be like, listen, if I could wear the uniform as fly as I am, y'all can wear the uniform. You know, I'm like, I can sacrifice once a week, twice a week, put the uniform on. Yeah, it might not be the best looking uniform in the world, and it has improved over the last 20-some years. But you know what? When you're fit, when you're focused, and when you have confidence, you look yourself in the mirror and you start loving it. And then guess what happened about 5-10 years later? Those same student athletes, or those same cats that was hanging out on the block, that was joking, and I graduated from Norfolk State, and I was making about $70,000 a year. They say who laughs loudest. Yeah, so who laughs loudest. You know, so JROTC prepared me for life and helped me get to the place where I was able to take care of my mother and other things. ROTC. How did ROTC impact me? I would say one of the ways it did, you know, it's interesting. You know, being from Buffalo, it's super cold. And when I went down to Norfolk, I didn't know much. You know? So I'm like, all I knew was Virginia Beach was close. So I thought it was like summer year round. So when I left Buffalo, I didn't take no jacket with me. I thought I was good. So I get down there, you know, as a freshman in 1997, September 10th, classes started. It was cold. By like October, maybe late October, it was freezing. October, November, I'm walking around with no coat, can't afford no coat. Remember, my mother's still making that $580 a month. You know, and you know, I was a scholarship cadet, but we were only getting like $100 a month, $150 a month. But my commander, him and his wife bought me a jacket. They bought me a winter jacket. And what I learned there is that it's mission first, people always. You take care of your soldiers, you take care of your people, and they will take care of the mission. So I was always mission focused. So when I was on those combat fields, when I was in Baghdad, when I was in Afghanistan, wherever I'm at, I was ensuring those soldiers were taken care of, and they took care of the mission. Appreciate that. Great question. Next question.
All right. At this time, let's go for the gift, for the next step.
Now, to express our gratitude for his inspiring remarks, we'd like to invite the members of the JROTC Booster Club and Principal Regis to the stage to present a token of our appreciation to Major Howard.
Mr. Come over here. Just wait.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Downing. I am the president of the JROTC Booster Club. With honor and remembrance for Major Corey Nathaniel Howard, your presence and invaluable story at our 9/11 Remembrance Event have deeply enriched our community. Through your powerful words, you have given our students a profound understanding of the sacrifices made and enduring strength of the human spirit. We are honored by your support and inspired by your service. It's truly helping to educate and motivate a new generation. So on behalf of the Northumberland High School and the JROTC program, thank you.
We also want to give you a token of our gift for coming all the way out here, and I know the cost of your flight alone probably is so much. So we just want to say thank you for what you've done for us.
As we bring our program to a close, we will now conclude our 9/11 Remembrance Event with a powerful performance. We are honored to have Ms. Martha Hicks join us on stage to sing God Bless America. Please welcome her to the stage.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the lights from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I think we can all agree that was amazing. Thank you so much, Ms. Hicks. I ask that you please be seated. The 9/11 Remembrance Event is about...
All right, listen up.
The 9/11 Remembrance Event is about more than just remembering the past. It's also about honoring the future. We honor the fallen by striving to be the best versions of ourselves, by embracing kindness, and by building a world rooted by understanding and respect. We want to express our gratitude to Mr. Regis, all faculty, staff, and students for your respectful participation. This event would not have been possible without your support. As we leave today, let us carry the spirit of service and unity with us. Thank you all for attending. This concludes our 9/11 Remembrance Event.